Hi everyone, and welcome to your monthly pick-a-card tarot readings for the month of July 2023. If we haven't met, my name is Sydney, I'm the tarot guy next door, and I use my occult knowledge and intuition to help guide you towards the life you want. Hey, I started a Patreon, and I thought you might want to know about it, so I want to let you know it exists. It only has 2 tiers right now. You can find more information in the description, and that's about it. Let's get back to the video. I'll be doing 7 card readings, and here are the decks that I have for you. We have the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot with Blue Aventurine, the Light Seer's Tarot with Amethyst, and the Dark Mansion Tarot with Red Jasper. We also have 4 different Oracle cards to choose from 4 different decks. So go ahead and pick which tarot deck and which Oracle card resonate with you the most. It's totally fine if you're drawn to more than one, and as always, you can pause this video if you need more time. As always with collective readings, take what resonates with you and leave aside what doesn't. If you want to jump straight to your reading, you'll find timestamps right below. And with that, let's go right to the readings. Alright, Group 1, let's see what we have for you to kick off the second half of the year. I should say, while shuffling, I got a tiny little peek at the King of Swords. I don't know what that means, if anything, but you know me, I must mention it. So, in our present energy... whoops. Well, we already know that the Knight of Cups is at the bottom of the deck. That wouldn't change anyway. But it's funny too, because independent of that, I'm reading the reversal of this 5 of Swords combined with the 8 of Coins and the 6 of Cups here as moving through conflict, moving through difficulty, mending bridges through work and diligence. You know, it's very cool vibes. Going into this energy is the 10 of Coins. Now, normally this isn't a card that we're happy to see in the past, but actually, it's difficult for me to elaborate right now. Let's look at the incoming energy, which is the 4 of Swords. And our 2 advice cards are the Queen of Swords reversed and the 10 of Wands reversed, which, as we saw earlier, the Knight of Cups reversed at the bottom of the deck. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the thing where I pause the recording and just take a look at this. Give me a second. Group 1, despite there only being 1 cup in your reading, plus the bottom of the deck, of course, I'm getting some big interpersonal vibes from this reading here. My initial vibe of working through conflict is pretty strong, and I think that the month of July for you is a month to remember the good times and try to move past the bad times with the people around you. Now, I want to warn you, it's very tempting, and I kind of felt I'm kind of falling into this myself also. It's very tempting to put this in a frame of the COVID era, but I would invite you to try to look past that, to try to see if there might be something a little more nuanced and a little more complex than that. And what's making me say this is the 10 of Coins in your past energy here. It's kind of like the good old days, the time before, and whatever this 5 of Swords represents, whatever conflict or argument or disagreement that is represented with this, and we will get to this because these 2 advice cards are definitely pointing to that. Whatever that is, it's important to remember what got you to the point where you cared enough to even have beef or conflict with the person or people involved, you know. And, you know, as nodded to by the 8 of Coins here, it is a gradual process that you need to chip away at slowly but surely in order to rekindle this helping, innocent, cool vibe. You know, I call the 6 of Cups the nostalgia card, but there's also and this is true of the 6s in general, actually. There is a spirit of helping each other out, gentleness, kindness with one another. Obviously, that emphasis comes more to the forefront with the watery suit of Cups here. But yeah, now, This Four of Swords actually in your incoming energy is very promising. First of all, we're going from 5 to the 4, suggesting some kind of de-escalation, but this is also a card of recuperating, of regenerating, of healing, and of figuring out what the new normal is, So this is very promising. Now, these two advice cards, what's making me chuckle is the Queen of Swords reversed as your main advice card. Don't be don't be so quick to point out the things that the person did or people did. I'm gonna just assume, I'm gonna speak as if it's one person because I don't want to keep saying person or people this whole time, all right? So it might be multiple people, but I'm gonna speak about it as if it's one person. So yeah, don't be so quick to point out the annoying things that this person says, because that might be part of what helped fuel the conflict. So basically, I often read the Queen of Swords reversed as, hesitancy to speak your truth. And in an advice position, this is basically, don't be a nitpicker. You see, this is why I said that thing or whatever. That is not the approach to take. There's a saying that I came across in one of those self-help seminars. You could be rich or you could be, no, sorry, let me rephrase, let me start over. I got it wrong. You could be right or you could be rich and happy. So let's scrap the rich part. You could be right or you could be happy. And pointing out the right things is not the best approach if you want to rekindle the interpersonal relationships in this. And you don't have to go it alone. The Ten of Coins is saying that they also have to do their part. So try to focus on the good times and remember what brought you to the point where you cared enough to enter this conflict, and be open and vulnerable without focusing on pointing out what is false to highlight what is true, and make sure that this other person is also doing their part and also being vulnerable and open, because if you try to do it all by yourself, then that is not very sustainable. July might be a long month if you're the only one trying to put this approach, and the other person's Queen of Swords is upright, and they're pointing out all the falsities and errors that you're doing. That's not sustainable, So try to see this as a partnership and remember the good times, and be open and vulnerable. That is basically it. That was one final loop before wrapping up this reading. Thank you so much for trusting me with it, and you can use the timestamps in the description below to jump to your Oracle card reading. All right, group 2, let's see what we have for you for July. So, in your present energy, what is this? The Seven of Cups reversed, the Devil. Ooh, very interesting in the middle of your reading, and the Star reversed. This is very tricky energy. With the Devil upright and the Star reversed, it is pointing to a false sense of attachment that might be causing confusion and barring you off from healing. Let's see what past energy led us to this situation. And we have the Chariot reversed. Okay. It's funny because I think in a recent video I pulled a similar card, so I don't want to be too contaminated by how I read this. But I think that the Chariot reversed leading into the Devil upright is pointing to self-doubt and not realizing how awesome you are, and kind of being stuck in that energy. Speaking of energy, in the incoming energy of the future, we have the High Priestess reversed. Weirdly promising, considering that this is the High Priestess. As a reminder, I read cards very similar. Whether a card is upright or reversed, it basically means the same thing at its core. It's just the fact that it's reversed that is an extra data point. And your two advice cards are the Queen of Coins reversed and the Knight of Swords. And we have the Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Very fitting with this energy. Let me take a look at this and see how I can stitch this all together, Group 2. Don't panic. Group 2, I think the main thing that is keeping you stuck in this devil energy, that's keeping you on the finger of this devil here, is it's kind of like when you're in a situation that you want to get out of and that you don't feel you have any options. You kind of just start trying everything. You try throwing a bunch of shit at the wall to see what'll stick. You're kind of like flailing, which is alluded to by the Seven of Cups here and the Queen of Coins right under it, which we will get to here. Well, actually, let's get to it right now. I think the key for you to move on from this trickster energy and to tap into the deep knowing that you've had access to this entire time is to just pick a cup and focus on it. Instead of trying to do everything at once, or instead of trying to do, you dip your finger into this, dip your finger into that, just pick one thing and focus on that thing and give it your all with the Knight of Swords here. That's kind of the main advice of this reading here. Because the Queen of Coins reversed, I often read her as either impatience or lack of focus. So it might be that you're expecting immediate results, in which case I would invite you to be gentle with yourself and understand that it might take some time. However, combined with the Seven of Cups reverse right above her, I'm reading this as being so scattered that it's difficult. Of course, it's difficult to make progress if you're always like advancing a bunch of things and task switching, which, just getting your bearings when you refocus on the thing that you haven't done in a while, it takes time, and that's what's preventing you or blocking you off from the healing, balancing energy of the star here. So what I would give you as advice based off of these cards here, just pick a cup, focus on it, give it your all, and let your feelings guide you. And when I say let your feelings guide you, there's a potential trap here, because part of what got you stuck here at the devil's fingers here, and just to make it clear, what's making me say this is because of the puppet here that's at his fingers. That's you. So part of what is keeping you stuck here might be that you're trusting your feelings and realizing how, oh, this one thing isn't working, and switching to something else, and you're and it's resulting in the very flailing that I opened the reading with, So when I say let your feelings guide you, I mean like pick a cup proverbially and just focus on it for 3 days, 5 days, a week, whatever amount of time would seem long for you at this point, and to push past the self-doubt, basically. So when I say let your feelings guide you, I mean if after a while it still feels wrong, then you can circle back and pick another cup. But the key is to really focus on one thing and give it your all long enough so that you can see if the self-doubt is really you or if it's just bullshit. And by picking this and focusing on this one thing, then you can access the deep inner knowing that has been with you this entire time and move past the disappointment, Oh, speaking of which, one very clear warning about the Three of Swords at the bottom of your deck here is the last thing you want to do is to start spiraling into self-blaming. So just be gentle with yourself, you know. And June, you know, it's the high heat of the summer for most of us, and it's the time to take the time to really experiment with whatever cup that you're considering, you know. So if you take it lightly and just focus on it, and dedicate yourself to one cup for long, then that's how you can, you know, slip off the devil's finger, proverbially. So that was a mic drop. So I'm going to end the reading there. Thank you so much for trusting me with your reading. And you can use the timestamps in the description below to jump to your Oracle card reading. I'll see you there. All right, group 3, let's see what we have for you for July. So, in your present energy, we have the 8 of Swords. What is this? The 3 of Cups reversed. And the World. Oh, that's nice. It's difficult for me to get a vibe right away. Let's see what past energy led us to this situation. And we have the Lovers reversed. In the incoming energy, we have the King of Cups reversed. And your 2 advice cards are the Emperor reversed and the Empress reversed. Well, and the Queen of Coins at the bottom of the deck. If you haven't noticed, I'm going to stare at this for a bit and come back to you. Is this straight for you? Let's just do that. This should be good enough. Great. Group 3, I stared at these cards for a long time. And the reason is, this is one of these readings that can either mean something or mean the opposite of that thing. And I'm just going to work through it and hopefully it'll make sense to you. This is almost certainly a love reading. And what I alluded to with it either means a thing or it means the opposite of that thing is this might be an indication that it's time to part ways, or it could be an invitation to recommit and guidance on how to do that. So I'm going to dig into this a little. The 8 of Swords here is an invitation of feeling stuck, of feeling trapped. And I have the feeling, especially with this Lovers reversed in the past here, that both parties might be contributing to the other one feeling this way. And with the Emperor and the Empress, both as advice cards, and the Lovers reversed in the past here, this is what's giving such heavy like love reading energy here. But one thing is for sure, there is opportunity for joy that you're not connecting with right now because you feel so trapped, or the other one is making you trapped, or you're making the other one feel trapped. And the crux of the matter is what this World card means. And the World card it's a card that I read in a lot of different ways, which is what made this reading so difficult to interpret. Oh, first of all, I'll say this right away. The King of Cups reversed in your incoming energy. I'm reading this as a delay. So there is emotional mastery on the other side of this, no matter what this reading actually means for you specifically. But coming back to this World card here, the World could either be the ending of a cycle and the beginning of a new one, or it could be an invitation to hunker down, to surround yourself. Basically, the wreath that surrounds this character here in the world. It could mean a lot of different things, which is why I read it in so many different ways. So one of them is, you know, the wheel turning and the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. The other one could be protection, and to really hunker down and think of what commitments might have been forgotten that can help reconnect this sacred partnership, with the Emperor and Empress here. So speaking of which, the Emperor card, I think no matter what the reading is saying, I think the meaning of the Emperor card as a main advice card is the same either way. And it is to let go of your desire to manage every last aspect of what happens, and also an invitation to open up, because the Emperor is a card of being the master of your domain. He runs the ship. He's kind of the boss of the tarot, but there's also some detachment that is implied with the Emperor card. So the meaning of the Emperor card as a main advice card is to let go of your need to be so controlling of every last detail, which is what might be making the other person feel stuck as well. I think that you need to give each other space to figure out who you really are in this relationship. And I think that the key to that is to open up and just be open to things that you might not want to happen to happen, to give that person and yourself the space to really be, because again, I'm really harping on this Eight of Swords here. The way out of the predicament of the Eight of Swords is slowly but surely, and that is the thing to keep in mind. And if you try to force it, then that reduces the likelihood of it happening, basically. And I didn't point to it, but I've been reading the Queen of Coins at the bottom of the deck, binding this whole reading together for that last bit here about being patient. Being patient and gentle is a key theme for this reading here. So yeah, no matter what this reading means for you specifically, I think that there is a potential for happiness and celebration around you, but you need to create the space for one another in order to even see that it's there. And maybe that is what can help the open up the way forward and make it clear, So yeah, that is what I have for you. Hopefully that made sense, and hopefully that was helpful. I will pick up your reading here, and if you don't want to watch me pick up your reading, you can use the timestamps in the description below to jump a couple seconds ahead to your Oracle card reading. I'll see you there. All right, it is time for the Oracle cards. There we go. This should be good. Perfect. All right, Group A, your card is Duration. This is I Ching hexagram number 32. And the keywords are constancy, continuity. Let me rephrase that. Constancy, continuity, endurance, perseverance, maturity, strengthening, stability, a deep commitment. Well, one of the readings needed this clarity. I'll say it that way. But regardless of the reading that you took, remember the image of the mountain here in the background is such a telling one. It is the mountains don't grow overnight. Mountains endure. Mountains are strong, but steady and slow. And I think that for you, the month of July is a month to really make a serious commitment to what matters to you. And I think that that is what can help you find the way forward, basically. Group B, your archetype is the Alchemist. Ooh, I love it. Look at this. The light attribute is transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom. The shadow attribute is misuse of the power and knowledge that come through spiritual practice. Honestly, I don't think the shadow attribute applies at all. I'm reading this really as an invitation to take whatever shit is going on, whatever shit might come your way for the month of July, and figure out how you can transmute it and transform it into something that is golden, that is in service of your higher self, and to really focus on taking whatever is perceived as bad things and figuring out a way to see it as good, to use it as good. And I'll remind you of a question that I've mentioned multiple times in these videos. How is this the best thing that's ever happened to me? If you can keep that question in your back pocket for July, that can help you tap into the alchemy of transmuting the lead into gold, proverbially. Group C, your card is Loyal Heart. Nice. If you picked the group that I'm thinking of, it should be obvious why I chuckled just now. But one thing that I will say, and we have two owls wearing crowns here, rubbing it in even more. But in order to get to where you want to go, you need to commit. This is in many ways a rehash of Group A here. Loyalty can be loyalty to yourself. It could be loyalty to someone else. It could be loyalty to a cause. And I think that the month of July, you're being invited to really commit to something, to commit to what matters to you, and to ride the rough patches, at least for this month. And finally, Group D, your Angelarium card is Azrael, the Angel of Death. Don't panic. Let me just show this to you. And if you haven't seen me pick this card before, use this deck before, it's pretty clear that the author of the deck wants us to figure it out for ourselves. So let me just stare at this card and see what comes up. Group D, I'm reading this very similarly to the Death card in Tarot, meaning transformation. And specifically for you, I'm reading this as evolution. I have the feeling that July might be a landmark month for you. But yeah, what really struck me staring at this card is how he is taking he's taking this apple here and trying to study and learn all the lessons, nodding to the book here, in a really multifaceted way. I mean, I counted 7 hands. I'm assuming that the 8th hand is holding the book because an odd number of hands is very weird to me. But one thing is for sure, there is a lot of knowledge and integration of lessons that is alluded to in this card, and that's what's giving me the feeling that the month of July might be a month of evolution for you, where you might not even recognize who you will be in August and September, but in the good sense. So yeah, just buckle up. But remember that when life forces you to level up, or when you have reached the point where you level up, there could be a lot of chaos in the mix, and to welcome it and invite it, because that's part of the process, basically. So that was a mic drop. I'm gonna end the video here. If you like this video, please give this video a like. It really helps me out. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you have a great month of July. You take care. I'll see you soon.